keeps track of everything that you learn as you go through the game. Nothing really in here yet, nothing much, but as you learn things, they'll show up there. And if we look on your map is all fog of ward out. You can see the quest objective is highlighted there. You've got different towns, all these different bandit encampments, which will come into play later. But for now, I'm going to move over to get this quest objective. You'll see on the mini map in the bottom right, it also shows you where you need to go. To get to the Elder, he's got some dialogue. From everything I've seen, the decisions here don't actually matter. So you can move through the dialogue however you want to. It doesn't really actually affect his dialogue or how the game plays out. Okay, so after talking to him then, I get a quest to go build a personal shack for myself. We're going to disable these pop-ups. But if you're new to the game, I would leave them on. They do give helpful advice on what you're doing and how to do it. Now you'll see, before we look at the map, if I try and build, it's going to tell me I can't. Must be built 105 meters away from the neutral village. Tells you that at the bottom there. So I can't build inside the village. I've got to go out of the village a little bit. So then we look at the map here. This is really, even though there's space up here, for the most part, this is the top of the map. There's not a lot up here. All of the map is to the south. And there's actually, well, you can't see it yet. There's a giant flat space right in here. So that's where I'm going to head to build my first little town, is to the south of the starter town. I've tried to the west, I've tried to the east. The resources aren't quite as good there, in my opinion. So move to the south of the town and start building in that region. Now you see close to town, you get this message on resources, belongs to nearby village, and it won't let you harvest anything. So you've got to move out of the town a little ways. You'll eventually stop getting that message when you come up on resources that you can actually harvest. So see there, I can actually pick that up and start gathering resources that I'm going to need to build this shelter. And this is the spot I'm going to pick for this first shelter. If I open the map, you can see just south of the back part of the name, we've got some icons for sage that are close by. There's a lot of flax in this area too, which you need to build a lot of the early structures. You can also see that there are a number of rabbits around. There's also a deer way back there walking around. That'll be good for hunting later, but you've got some good flat area here. You've got lots of trees. You've got lots of flax, which is what you really need to get started. And enough stone to keep you with the stone that you need. So this is a good place to put together our first structure. Now, once I've placed it, you'll see there are nodes here, these little circles, where you can actually start building the structure. It tells you what construction material you need in order to build it. You can also go where you see these logs. There's like a construction point. This tells you total what you need, 6 flax and 10 wood. So you can add materials here, or you can just click. I don't have any wood yet, so I can't click on that. But if you had the materials in your inventory, you could just click on those dots and it would start building for you. I need a little bit more flax. And then I'm going to need to find some wood. When I pull up the construction menu here, you can see you have 3 items you can quick craft. They don't require a crafting table. I'm going to need a simple axe to start cutting trees down. And you can see at the bottom of this pop-up here, 6 wood, 2 crude stone in order to craft that. So I'm going to have to run around and find sticks on the ground. I'm not picking any of this other stuff up because your inventory does fill up pretty quick. I'm just looking for some sticks here. So there's a stick that gives me 2 wood. I need 6 total. Here's another one that'll allow me to pick that up. You'll find berries in the forest. Good to have a couple of those on hand for food buffs. You'll also find here you can get mushrooms. Also good to grab a couple of those. Just right click on them in your inventory. You have to hold the right mouse button down while that wheel spins, and then when you eat the food, it pops up into your consumed food here. You get buffs from food, health regen. You get a health buff, so this gives me plus 16 health. Then it also gives you regen of 0.1 health per second. If you're empty on food, you have no food, it actually won't regenerate your health. So you've got to have food for health regeneration. You can also see you've got stamina there as well. Plus 14 stamina and regen of 2 per second with the mushroom and the consumed foods. The berries are a little bit lower, 8 health, 20 stamina, and regen of 0.1 health and 3 stamina per second by having that. So still on the lookout for more logs or more sticks. You can also harvest these saplings, the really small trees. You can look for that dot and click on them. That'll get you some wood that way. And we need to find a couple of stones to make that axe. Stones can usually be found, loose stones, around pockets of larger stones or around these stone walls. There's one there. You would need a mining pick for the bigger rocks. You're looking for little stones like that there. And so now, if I go to my quick craft, I can craft a simple axe and equip that. And what that allows me to do now is start chopping trees down. Now, I'm not going to start right away with that. I'm still looking for wood. And from chopping the large trees down, you actually get logs, not wood. So you're looking for either wood on the ground, you're looking for saplings, or you're looking for young trees. So now with my axe, I can cut that, and that's going to give me a little bit of wood. See, this is a tree. I'm going to cut this down because eventually I'll need these, but it will show you if it's just a tree, when you cut it down, it gives you logs. And the bigger ones you have to cut multiple times. I could pick that up. I'm not going to pick it up yet because they take up a lot of inventory, but that's the difference between logs and wood. Young trees for wood and trees for logs. So with wood now, I can start to click. You can see it'll build. Click on those. Find it better to unequip your weapon so you don't accidentally swing like that and you're just kind of spam clicking on these dots to get things built. Then as I mentioned, you can always come to this too. I already got all the resources in it, so there's nothing left to do other than click all these dots. You can walk over buildings as you're constructing them, and it will move you out once it's finished. Now that's done. I get some renown, which is used to acquire followers later in the game. And I've got the shack. So you can see the codex updates, the building, the personal shack. I've got the simple axe in the gear now because I made that. Mushrooms and berries because I found those. So lots of good information in here when you're new to the game, just understanding what things are and why they work. The lore is very optional. It's the story. So if you care about that kind of thing, it's here for you to read. If you don't care about that, you don't ever have to go in there. So now the house is done. I have a place to sleep. You can see it's too early to sleep. And then I've got local storage. So I can move things in and out of that local storage if I want to do that. For now, I'm going to keep all this with me though, because we're going to build some other things. On the quest side of things, you'll see it tells me to wait until tomorrow. Now I know, because I've played this quite a bit, I can do some other things while I'm waiting. We've got a workbench, a research desk, a campfire, all very important to getting your first town up and running. Housing tent is housing for your followers, so eventually we're going to need multiple of those as well. And then camp chest is general storage, where you can store items and your followers can retrieve things. So we're going to actually start off with the workbench. The research desk actually requires a worker, a follower, to be used. You can't use it yourself, at least currently in the game. I don't know that they'll change that ever, but right now I can't research anything because I can't actually use the desk, only work. And so with that in mind, we're going to build the workbench first. And you can just stick this kind of out where you are. And we need 3 flax, 5 wood, and then I'm going to need a little bit more stone. So let's go look for a couple of loose stones here. 1 to 1 and only 1. Check over here. See, there's a pretty big patch of mushrooms. You can find these larger patches all over the place, as well as big patches of berries. Here we go, a couple more stones in here. So looking for these larger rocks that you can mine, there are usually loose stones around the clumps of rocks that you can pick up. And as we're heading back again on the food, you don't have to eat. That just means stuff is not going to regen for you. But I like to keep food buffs as best I can, just because it gives you more stamina, which means you can run more, which means you move around faster. This one, we'll put our 3 stone in there. Now that everything is at the build site, you see there's no more materials needed. So I just need to come and click on all the dots to actually build the table. Okay, now with that made, I can only build the things that I can quick build, but as I learn about new things, those will be built here. The workbench is also where I would repair broken items. So items do have durability. You can see this is starting to wear down just a little bit. When that gets to the end, I'll have to repair it. And it costs about half the material to repair as it does to build anew. So we will do that when we need to. We've got that up and running. Next thing I want to build is a campfire. And I'm just going to stick this a little off to the side, I think, just over here. 2 wood, or 2 stone, 5 wood. So I need 2 more wood. As I'm going out, I'm picking up wood that I find. I'm also grabbing flax. A lot of these early buildings use flax. And I'm picking up stones when I come across those as well. I'll go ahead and pull the axe out and cut some of this wood. Let's see, these really small trees, you can't actually do anything with them. They're just there. The stumps you need a shovel for, so we can't dig those up, but the stumps will also give you wood later on. Those are trees, so cutting those down is going to give me logs. Come over here. Got flax and sticks, and we've got our campfire set up. So this allows us to cook food. That's the main purpose of the campfire. Now, of the food that we found so far, we only cook mushrooms. We have 1. You can see the campfire will cook 4 at a time. So I'm going to come out and find a few more mushrooms. Picking up some of the stones I find as well, just so I've got a little bit extra in the inventory. Ran into a wolf. Wolves are easy. They don't block. You can't, I don't think you can block their attacks. So basically you're just chopping it. Once you kill an animal, you've got 2 pieces of raw meat and a pelt. I'm not really trying to hunt. I just wasn't paying attention to the mini map. You can see they do show up as red dots on the mini map. The mini map itself will not tell you what they are, but if you go to the big map, you can hover over and it will tell you what the animal is or what the red dot is. Sometimes it's people. There's some mushrooms over here. I'm not bothering with the sage yet because I really can't use it. And inventory is very precious at the beginning. So inventory's full, so we got to head back. Okay, so now that I'm back, you can see I can put a mushroom, and I have the raw meat now too, so those can get cooked as well. You can eat the mushrooms raw, you cannot eat the meat raw. And so we're going to add the meat, and we'll add the meat there. Then we're going to put 2 mushrooms on the other side. And then start our fire by putting wood in there. So now these are cooking. You can see there's a blue circle that starts to fill in around the icon to the left of the name. And when that gets filled, that means that that thing is cooked and I can take it off. While we're waiting for that to cook, we're also going to start on a chest. We're just going to stick, we'll end up doing 2. We'll do 1 here, 3 flax and 6 wood. I need more wood. Come cut a couple trees. There we go. You do still get wood if you swing attack one of the young trees. So you have to have this icon up to hit the button for it to actually try and harvest. But if you, let's see if I can get it to do it off. See, I still got wood for that hit, even though it wasn't, and the tree dies, even though it wasn't on the harvest button. That might work for other things. It works for trees, but it might not work for everything. Okay, so we got all our materials. Now that's built. I can use this stuff in there. I got to grab the food. Then I'll come back and explain that storage. Quite cooked. The mushrooms are done. You can see the circle starts to fill up again. When that circle fills up a second time, it turns into burned mushrooms, burned meat. So you want to make sure you don't burn your food. If you burn it, the stats go down. Piece of cooked meat, I can take that. And this is one of the ways I like to control the cooking. If you put only 1 piece of wood in it, that's enough to cook 1 thing of food. And so if you only put wood in 1 at a time, you'll not burn your food. If you put 3 or 4 in and you go off and do something and get busy, the fire continues to burn. It will burn your food. But if you only put in 1 food or one piece of wood, the food will get cooked and the fire will expire before it gets burned. So coming back to the chest, a couple of things to show here. 1, when you put things in chests, they actually stack spaces, and you have inventory slots that show you how much more you can fit in. So these small chests, these camp chests, hold 50 slots worth of items. Now, everything we have so far only takes 1 square, but items such as weapons, some of the more advanced armor, things like logs, they actually take up multiple squares. And so this is a count of how many squares of stuff you can have. So a log takes up 6 squares. If we were to put a log in here, you would see it go to 30 of 50. There'd only be one log, but it would go to 30 of 50. So that's that on storage, and I'll go get a log and show that in a minute. The other thing I want to point out here, you can see a roasted mushroom has different stats than a mushroom. So a mushroom, 16 health, 14 stamina. Roasted mushroom is 25 health, 12 stamina. And you can eat both of these at the same time. So I'm going to eat one of those. You see I have the mushroom buff as well as the roasted mushroom buff. So good to know that you can cook food, eat one raw and eat one cooked, and get separate buffs from both of those. Now you can go to sleep at this point, and that will automatically bring up the next day. I'm going to choose to build a couple more things. I'm going to build another camp chest right here, which I'll have keep my food. I've got no flax and no wood currently, because I put them all in this chest. I can get 3 flax and 6 wood that I need. And now I can come and construct this. Weird. So now with 2 chests, one of the things I could do is, why don't I take all the food out? I'm going to turn off food rations for this chest. Now, these controls are used when you have followers. It gives them rules so they know what to put or what not to put in any given storage. So for just me, this doesn't matter, but I like to set things up so I don't have to change things when I get a follower. This is going to have no food in it. All of the food is going to go in this chest next to the fire. And then over here, I can do the same thing. I'm going to turn off storage of everything else other than just food rations. So now I've got a food chest next to my fire, and I've got an everything else chest next to the crafting table. Even though I can't use it yet, I am going to be prepared for getting that follower. We're going to put the research desk up. You can see it's too close to the table there, but I can build it out here. It's good to build the resource or research desk next to your resources, because doing research does require resources to be added to the table. So we're going to stick this right here for now. You can see 5 flax, 2 logs, 10 wood. So from what we have in our chest, 1 flax and 1 wood, go ahead and add those. And we need 4 more flax, 2 logs, and 9 more wood. So we can come back over here where we chopped this log earlier. We can take that. We've got to chop this other piece, and we can pick those up. Oh, inventory's full because I don't have a bag yet on this guy. So I can only carry 2 logs at a time. We'll go ahead and drop those 2 logs in. We're going to clean up from our lumberjacking and just pick this other log up now that we have a storage spot to put it in. And you can see what I was talking about. I said 6 before. Sorry, the log actually takes up 9 of these squares. So you can see 12 of 50. When I put that in, it gets me 21 of 50. So this is a count of squares, not items. A couple other ways to move stuff in and out of storage. You can drag and drop like I did. You can also just left click it to move it in and out. The other thing to know is if you hold down Alt, you will try to move all of a stack in or out of your inventory. So you can see there's 11 stone in here. If I hold Alt and left click, it pulls all 11 out with 1 click. Likewise, I can return it by holding Alt, clicking on one of the stone, it moves all 11 back in. If I don't hold Alt, it just does them one at a time when I click. We're going to put everything in storage, and I still need some flax, and I still need 9 wood. 4 flax and 9 wood. I'm still skipping sage. You don't need sage to the start. The sage is used in cooking recipes, and so all it's going to do right now is fill up precious inventory slots. Leave it alone. Don't try and store it. There's plenty of it later when you need it. Same with the hemp. There's hemp around here, right here. You don't need hemp right now. Leave it alone. Sometimes you miss. And you just need to get a little bit closer. There's no like weather penalties in this game, so at least now, so it's raining, doesn't matter. It's not like in Valheim, you get wet, you get a debuff, that's bad. You don't have that particular debuff in this game. Okay, so research desk is done. So now what can I do here? I can pick what I want researched, but I need a follower to get assigned to this to actually do the research. Okay, so you can see things like small traps. This allows me to passively get small meat and pelts. Elm shortbow allows me to make a shortbow, a shield. The bloomery allows me to smelt copper and tin, so it's like a forge of sorts. Foraging camp, logging camp. These are both buildings designed to allow you to tell your followers what you want them to work on. So you would build a foraging camp and then assign people to foraging. That then gives them a spot where they go out and forage from. They collect all their stuff and they bring it back to the camp. Same thing for logging. So that's what these camps are for, is to help manage your followers. Then you could build a standing torch, and then a village hall is like your main little village town center thing. It allows you to start researching tier 2 items. So it is important, although you can see it takes quite a few resources for us at this point in the game. Eventually it'll be nothing. You'll have hundreds of hides. You'll have hundreds of straps. You can make all the linen you want, hundreds of nails. But right now, those resources are very scarce and we cannot easily go acquire those in the next little bit of time. It's going to take us several hours of building up, researching things, exploring things to get particularly the straps. Those come from bandits and brigands. So as we fight people, we will find straps quite commonly, and eventually we'll be able to craft those. And when you open up that crafting, that's when you really, like, how many do you want? But for now, they're very hard to come by. So we're not going to be building that anytime soon. And so for now, the only other thing I could build that would be useful, I know that I'm going to get a guy soon, so I can go ahead and preemptively build housing tent, which is where that guy is going to live. So we need for this 2 logs, we need some flax, 6, and then we need 9 wood. So 2 logs and 9 wood. Got our 1 log in our storage. Pull that out. We're going to put the seeds in. So now I need 1 more log and 9 wood. Okay, all our materials are here. So we're just clicking on the buttons. Clicking on the bullet points, whatever you want to call those. I feel like I'm playing connect the dots. Kind of, but not really. And that is built. Okay, so again, I have no followers yet. I'm going to get them very soon. I just kind of preemptively built that. There's nothing left really for me to build at this point. So I'm going to store my extra materials, and it's not daytime yet, so I can go ahead and sleep the rest of that little bit. But that's a good first night. We've got everything we need preemptive for day 2 here. You can see the warning there that it gave 5 days until winter. When winter hits, the big thing is you cannot harvest any of the food. So the mushrooms go away. They're still there, but you can't harvest them. They still show, but there's nothing to harvest. You can't harvest berries later when you have farms. The farms aren't growing, etc. So that's the big thing to know with the winter. So new day. At this point, I can go back and talk to the elder. Let's see. I'm gonna grab food. Now, food does spoil over time. You see the bar. If this goes to 0, then that turns into spoiled food. So you need to keep track of that at least a little bit. You don't want all your food to spoil. Eat the stuff that's going to spoil soon. There's no benefit or difference in eating food based on how close it is to spoiling. So it doesn't matter if it's about to spoil. It's going to give you the same buff. And one thing to note, at least the way the game works here at the end of June, the only thing spoiling is the top item. So in this case, you see I have 2. If I move this, the one underneath it does not spoil. And if this was a stack of 100, that would be true still. Only the top one spoils. So use that to your advantage for now. I don't know if they plan on changing that at some point, but for now, only the top one spoils. And so when food is stacked, put this back. Well, that just swapped it. Only the top one is spoiling. The bottom one is not. Additionally, if you stack things up, I can't really show you here unless I sit them forever. They'll both spoil like this because they're both exposed. So they're both spoiling when they're not stacked. But what you can do, it'll be hard to see. There's a little bit of spoil just showing up there. But if I stack these back, see just a little bit of extra black on that side. When I stack it back, did it again. Stack it back, not swap them. When I unstack them, this one is unspoiled again. So restacking food like that will reset any that are about to spoil. Good to know later when you start getting lots of food and you're moving lots of things around. But for now, let's go back and talk to the town elder. Okay, so we go through the dialogue. We get a quest. The next thing we need to do is go talk to Emily. And so you see it shows up on your mini map. It also, you can track one quest at a time on the left there. And so it shows what we need to do next. Okay, and then it tells us our next step. Visit Lubomir and ask for his help. If we look on our map, see where he's at down here. So that's our next agenda. So we get here and we talk to him. He's gonna give us some dialogue. Again, I mean, there are some things that will take you in a certain direction, but like whether you're nice to him or like for this example, I don't want to defend anyone. Whether I pick that or whether I pick number 2, that doesn't sound right. It doesn't matter. What do you mean? Okay, so he wants to join me now. I've got enough renown. It takes 53 renown to bring him. This is what the renown points are used for, is to get these followers. You can see it gives me a bunch of stats for this guy. These are not that great stats later on in the game, but for a first follower, they're better than some. You can see he's also got this additional bonus here, Prodigy, which gives him a 30% skill experience gain. So as he starts to do things, he will get experience points and these numbers will go up. So we are going to have him join us. So now he is a villager of ours. And because we got ahead of things, I'm just going to pick up some sticks while I can. Because we got ahead of things last night, he's already got his house. So we don't need to build that. You can see on the left, the village in need. It's already got us checked off as having built the house. And the other thing we need to do is turn him into a worker. So to do that, we're going to bring up the settlement screen. And I'll show all of this while we're in here. There are a few ways to do it, but I'll take this as an opportunity to go through this. This shows our main settlement right now called Your Settlement. You can rename it if you want to. but you don't have to. You can rename all of the buildings as well. This can get useful, especially when you start to have lots of different storages. And so you will eventually, I like barns later on for storage. And so it's difficult when you have barn 1, barn 2, barn 3, barn 56. You can give them names that allow you to know what's in them. So all of the buildings in a settlement will be listed here. Our campfire, our housing tent. You can see it's one of 2 because our new follower is now living in that housing tent, which allows for 2 people. The personal shack is mine, and we've got the research desk and the simple workbench. So this shows the settlement overall, and you've got filters here. It's not bad when you've got 6 things in your settlement, but once you have like 100 buildings, this allows you to start filtering things. That's the buildings view. Population shows you people. So if you come in here, you can see our new follower, Lubomir. These numbers are priority of him doing work. So you've got all these different icons here. If you hover over them, it will tell you what they are. When they're grayed out, that means you don't have buildings where that job applies. So right now we've got a crafting table, we've got storage, and we've got a research desk. So those are the only things that he could work on right now. And you can come in here and you can set different priorities. So we want him to do research first. We want him to do storage stuff second. And we want him to craft third. That's what we're going to do. Now we could set these other things as well that are grayed out right now. And if you choose this last symbol, that means they won't do it at all. But we don't really care about that. There's no buildings to be impacted anyway. So we're going to leave it like this. And that means that when we turn him into a worker, he's going to go start doing things. Now, right now, he is a companion. How do you know that? One, you see it in the upper right. You see your companions. You can also look over his head and see the 2 swords. That means that he is a companion. So to turn him into a worker, there are a few ways to do it. You can go back into this population screen and select him that way. Yeah, that's probably the easier way to do it. The other thing you could do is just come and talk to them and you get to that same screen. So if they're right next to you, you can just talk to them. If they're further away, bring up your settlement screen and then you can click on their name. This allows you to set them as worker, companion, and guard. You also see some other things here. You see their food. They do need to be fed in order to work on the tasks that you've given them. If they don't have any consumed foods, they will make that their priority to go find at least 1 food item to eat. You can see their morale currently working as. You can see what house they live in. When you have multiple settlements, you can move companions to different settlements. So when you have more than one, you can move people around. You see their job priorities again right here. They also have an inventory, so you can see what they have. You can give them things. I could give him a piece of wood. I could take the wood away. You can take away his weapon. If I click on this right, there we go. You can see here's another thing that takes up 2. You can give him back weapons. There's his armor, so you can craft more armor later. You can see all his skills and abilities down there. Attributes shows all of his abilities with crafting, harvesting, things like that. And then you can see what's affecting his morale. Last tab. So we set him to worker. That means he's going to start researching. That's his number 1 priority. I'm going to have him research the bow first, even though for the quest, we need to research the small trap. Actually, no, I'm a liar. We're going to switch that to small trap. So now 5 wood and 2 flax are needed to do this research. So we're going to get that, except he beat us to it. So your followers will do all the things. And you can see now it's getting researched right here. Research is finished and small trap is done. So now we can actually build a small trap on our workbench. You can see it requires 5 wood and takes 30 seconds as a baseline to craft. as your crafting skill goes up, the duration goes down, but it'll always show you the base 30 seconds and then what it will actually take you, in this case, 28 seconds. Now, the other thing, you'll see there's two interaction points here on this workbench. One is for you to craft, the other is for you to manage. So what you can do is you can come here and you can create work orders that your followers will complete for you so long as they can access the materials. So in this case, we can say, I want you to create a small trap. Now you can do a one-off, meaning I only want you to create one of them or two. You can change this number to whatever you want, up and down. You can set this to top up, which means I want to always have this number. So we could say, I want you to top up. Traps break over time, so you need to continually craft them once you start using them. We're going to say we want to always keep 4 traps. And now it tells you we don't have enough resources, so he's not going to be able to build any because we don't have the resources to build it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go out. It only takes wood. We're going to go out and we're going to get some wood for him. Tree seeds are used much later on. We can eventually build a forester station and they will start replanting trees for us. For now, we can't really do anything with them, but we will throw them in the storage. Some of these food items. I'm already mixing up my storages. And see that he moves them for you because I set those filters and I said only food can go in this. He actually comes and he moves the things to the proper storage spot. That's why he did that. So now I can put this wood in here and he can now craft a simple trap. Now I could do it myself as well. We're just going to have him do it. So you can see he comes, he gets the wood, comes and he puts it in the table. Now he's going to get more wood and put it in the table. And now he's crafting the trap. All right. You see he's carrying a thing. So that gives you some visual indication. Now, if we open this, we can see there's the trap. So we can pick that up and then we need to go set it. And we're going to need berries to set it. There's ample berries around. So I'm just going to come and grab a few more. There's a mushroom. We'll eat that because we don't have one. So where to set traps? You want to set them in a forested area where there are rabbits kind of visible. So we've seen lots of rabbits around. So just setting it over in this area is going to be good enough. To set it down, you just open your inventory, right click it, and then it's going to ask you where you want to put it. You put it down and then you add berries for bait, and that trap is now set. So for the quest, you can see that updated. They want 3 small traps and they want 1 pelt as optional. Now if we come and look here, we've got berries and berries. And so we're missing wood. Come in, this dude. Do you have still look at the wrong thing? Still look. Okay, so we've got 1 trap made. He's missing wood. You can see the 3 dots or the ellipsis on his head means he's not doing anything. And so we have some work to do to collect more wood. Now, one thing to be careful of, the followers are not great about optimizing wood usage on campfires. So there's some danger letting your followers use your campfires. So one thing you can do is set the structure priority to none, and that way your followers will not add wood to the fire. I think that's best early on because otherwise they'll burn up a lot of your wood and they're making fires when they're not needed, and it just causes a lot of problems. And so with that follower, I'm turning him off. And then he's not burning up my wood. And he's not burning our food either. We'll just leave that alone. So out to go get some more wood for that trap. The two traps we still need to build. Okay, you can see the trap light up when it's actually caught something. So now we can come to this trap. It's got animal remains in it, a small piece of meat, and a pelt. And then we can rebait this. I thought I had. Do not have any bait, so grab a mushroom, throw a mushroom in. Now it's reset, and we'll capture a new animal in a minute. Okay, so the storage is full. Can't put any more wood in there. We've got 3 traps. Another thing I'm going to do here is we're going to put him on the foraging camp to research that. He needs 5 mushrooms. We have 5 and we have 5 berries. Okay, so that's good because that will give him something to do when I'm doing other things or there's not enough wood to build a trap or whatever. So we will let him, he will pull all these resources in. He's already got the stone in and everything else is just missing mushrooms. I'll help him out. The mushrooms in for him. So now he can research this the whole way. While he's researching that, I'm going to take small traps and a pelt. It's 10 p.m. I'll go ahead and go to bed and take it in the morning into town. And you can see overnight he finished researching the forage camp. Now you've got this tech tree that shows all the things you can research. There's quite a bit there. We are just getting started. But now I can also have him build a forage camp out here. And we can look, we need flax logs and wood. So he's not going to be able to gather those resources yet. But we will get those over there before we run into town. The other thing we want to do is we're going to shift his priorities here. Building, we're going to put that second. Moving materials third. And crafting. You see, I just got harvesting increased from skill usage. So just by doing things, you will skill up. There are also books you can buy in the various towns at different levels. Okay, so he's got building mats going there to build the forage camp. I'm going to run back into town, turn in this quest, and move forward with that. And you can see that's finished now. So from here, if I go into the settlement and I go into buildings, I can come into foraging camp. And here I can set things I want to be collected. So we're going to say berries, top off. Let's grab 10. Mushrooms, top off at 10. And wood, top off. We're going to put this higher at like 50. Well, I don't think that many can fit. I think only 50 total can fit. So we'll put it at 30 for now. These will go in priority order. He's going to gather berries first, then mushrooms, and wood. And you can adjust them here. What's most important, put that on the top. And second most, and so on down. Right now, I don't really care about him gathering any other stuff. Berry, mushroom, wood. Maybe flax. We'll do a top off because flax is used in a lot of buildings. We're going to do 10 flax. That's it. No sage because, again, sage is for food and we don't need that for a while. Wheat, don't need that for a while. Guess we could do some stone. River reed we will need sooner rather than later, but we don't need that now. Same with hemp. Garlic is for cooking. Iron, copper, tin aren't really close. And we'll get those with the mining, a mining camp later. Cotton, not anywhere close. Moss is not close. Cranberry's not close. So that's good enough for us for now. And so our guy, you can see we now have harvesting there. So in his order, he'll research first if he can, then he'll build stuff, then he'll move stuff around, then he'll craft stuff, then he will gather or harvest. Another thing we could do from out here is go to our research desk and figure out, is there something else we want to research? What's next? I'm going to say logging camp is next. So we'll have them research that while we go turn in these traps. While we're running back, you see on the left-hand side there where it has the icon for the flax. I just got 3 flax and it shows the little white outline of a person's profile. That shows you that somebody, one of your followers, picked you up those items. If I had picked it up, there would be no white icon there. So the next quest, kill some wolves. You can see we also gain trust. So if you look on the bottom right over by the mini map, you've got where it says Arendine, the name of the town, and then below that, the level of trust is stranger, 50 out of 100. So ultimately, we're trying to move that up. Eventually, it will get to the point where we have full trust with the town. That means we can recruit anybody in the town, and we can trade with the town also once it's been liberated. Some of the first people you can recruit are these beggars. So when you talk to them, you get this option here. And this is true for most people in the town. Perhaps we could work together and have each other's backs. Or there's, I think, a few different ways that is said. At this point, he won't talk to me because I'm a complete stranger. So I need to improve that. You can see also, I don't have enough renown. I've only got 37. I need 123 to recruit him. Now, these beggars are terrible. Very low max on all of the stats. You can see 1 or 2 points only. They also have terrible buffs, perma buffs, minus 30% skill gain, minus 50% productivity. But they're really cheap, and minus 50% productivity is better than 0. So they will be worth getting when we can get them. For now, we cannot. So we need to complete a few more quests, and then we'll be able to get those. So you can see the quest objective on the map. We got to go over there. I am first going to go get some food, get the buffs associated with that, since we will be fighting wolves. We've got to kill 2 of them. Our research is done, so we can come back into the research desk, pick something new. Let's go ahead and do stockpile next. This is a larger storage building. So we've got the chests currently that hold 50 squares. The stockpiles hold 400. So we'll go ahead and research that next. We want to watch this meat. It's going to eventually spoil and go away. We still got a little bit of time, I think. So we'll leave it. We will go clear this trap out and reset that. You can see at this point, small trap is broken, so I can't reset it. Gonna have to run back, pick up a replacement trap, and I'll get 2 of them. So now I can fix the trap there. I can add a berry. That's reset. And I'm going to bring the other one, stick it over here, set that one. So now I'll have double the traps. Right. And for some stupid mushrooms. Ooh, that was a close one. Wolves are dead. I should have waited because I fought another one. Fought the first one, and then 2 and 3 hit me right away real fast. So should have healed first. While we're here, you can see this is a copper location. So we can eventually set up a copper mine up here and mine copper from the big copper nodes there. And from here, And from here, we can just go right into town. We don't need to go back to base for anything. Up a couple berries, maybe. So I have some to eat. You can see in your population what people are doing. So if you come, here's my one guy. You can see he's delivering one log to the research desk. So it gives you an idea what he's working on. He's not collecting anything just because we have the research prioritized, which is fine. We don't really consume that much, so it's not a big deal for me to grab what's needed at this point. Although eventually we'll automate most of our production. Okay, so now we've got trust. You can see we're now an associate. If we look on the bottom left, all of these ellipses are people that want to talk to us, that will offer us quests. So we've got more things we can do here in the town to continue to improve our trust. One thing to show here also, every town has an elder. And if you come to that elder, you can give them either coins or some of them will accept the wolf fangs. So the verbiage isn't quite logical, but ultimately you sell them for friendship. So if you were to sell these and say, sell one, why is that not working? There we go. It gives me trust with the town. So old coins you find, you get them from quests. You can bring those in and get 30 trust for one. Stockpile is done. So now we can come, we can talk here. Okay, so if she wants me to hire another follower and earn friend level, that's that quest. Here we've got an innkeeper. This allows us to spend the night in the inn. He doesn't have any tasks for us, but you can pay him. First night is free. I've never actually used him before, so I didn't even know that. But you can spend the night here without having to go back to town. I've never used them because they're not all that useful. This is the book guy. So you can buy books from him to improve your skills. One book is 500 experience or 50 gold each. What you can sell and what you can buy with merchants does change from day to day. So these are the books he has for sale today. Tomorrow he will have different books, or possibly the same. It could roll the same, but they're random every day. And so most days, not all the books are available, and most days they're a little bit different. So I do have enough renown to hire one of these beggars. I'm going to take a look. You can tell what people are by their clothes. So if you look at this guy, no shoes, ratty pants, he's got the eye patch. That's a beggar. This guy's a farmer. A lot of random villagers that don't have titles. That's a random villager. This is a random villager. There's a weaver over here. That outfit right there is a weaver outfit. One of the main crafting types. Eventually you can bring these people in. You can see they've got higher skills. They've got better. Some better. Prodigy is a good trait. Porter, they're slower, but they have more inventory. That's not bad. Nearsighted, they don't do as well with archery. And you can see any follower that you can recruit, it shows you what you need here. So the village is not liberated. I need to be protector level with trust. Right now I'm associate, and I don't have enough renown. You can see there's another weaver that could be hired later. Here's another beggar. Let's see if he looks any better. They might all have the same. He's got the same dullard and slacker. So 50% productivity and lower. We're going to go ahead and hire him anyway. That allows us to complete that first level, first part of the quest. We didn't take the quest from the book guy. Let's go and get that. So for most people, you just ask, can I help you with anything? Okay, so we've agreed to investigate shrines, and then let's talk to this guy and get his quest too. Okay, now as I mentioned before, you can only track one quest at a time. Whenever you get a new quest, it will pop up, track this quest by hitting Z. So if you hit Z, then it switches to the latest quest. The other place to find your quests is in... The other place to find your quest is in the journal. The default key is J. This will show you which quests you have. You can click on them, see different quests. And if you want to change what's being tracked, you just highlight that one and hit track and it'll switch. Looks like we have one other available quest. Let's go pick that up before everybody goes to bed. Okay, so that one's done. We're going to go over to this shrine quest objective and get that knocked out. We won't be able to do the quest in return because the villagers go to bed at night. Another thing that I can do remotely, so this guy is a companion now. We're going to switch him to a worker. And then we can set him, we're going to make him gather first. Move stuff second, craft third. So he'll go work on the gathering immediately. Now, because he was with me, it's going to take him a while. He's going to walk back to here. And he's probably just going to go to bed tonight anyway, but he will eventually start gathering herbs, flax, berries, etc. for us. From the shrine, there's an old shrine. There's an old coin. So we've got one of those now. You can see the description here. We can turn that into the elder for 50 trust. And then don't forget to click on the shrine itself to get credit for that quest. Let's look at this one. So we need hemp, sage, and flax. Here's some hemp. There's a flax and sage. 2 sages. Okay, so we've got the stuff for that quest. We can track that one later. Not track it later, but complete it here. We're going to put some food on. And here I can show you. See how these have all deteriorated almost to half. I put them in, and then I take the top one off. The ones underneath are restored. So putting stuff in that should be put in saves it from spoiling super fast. Got a book on shields. There you go. That away. I'm not going to go to bed yet. I often stay up during the nights. There's no requirement to sleep, although you do get a buff for sleeping. But I'd rather get more stuff done because I got to do all this anyway. Pull out the animal remains. Put more berries in. That trap is reset. Get your meat. That trap is reset. Since we're out here and they're here, we grab some mushrooms. Fire doesn't hurt you, so you can't step on it. There's one thing to be careful of. If you come, see I have 4 of these. So if I hit Alt and they've got the really low life left before they turn spoiled. If I grab them all at once, they spread out. They've all got low life. Okay, if I just take the top one off, next one shows full, and I take them, then they have full health. 3 of the 4 have full health. Whew, that's going to take a while. We're going to research Weaver Loom next. This is needed to make craftable items such as the simple rope or simple cord that we need to research the bow. So Weaver Loom next. Okay, so we completed the other quest there, and we can run into town and turn all these in. Might be easier to switch the tracking to one of the quests to turn in, just to help you find the turn in person. In some of the turn ins, you actually get to pick books, harvesting or crafting. both of these are whatever. You get a lot of harvesting and a lot of crafting skill points just by doing them. But we're going to go ahead and pick crafting. I think that goes a little bit slower. And so now I can read. I'm going to read this book. You see, just right click on it in your inventory, and then you come here to this read button. Shows you how long it's going to take, shows you how much of an increase you're going to get. And then this shows you I'm currently skill 2, which gives me 10% crafting speed. At skill 3, you'll have 50. That's that. Now I have to not die for 30 minutes. That's the key there. You can see here it shows as well how much time is left. I'm reading this book. How much time is left till it's done reading. And we've got one more quest to turn in. Let's go grab this other quest while we're here. Can I help you? Okay, so we picked that up. We're going to go turn this other one in. So here we got some books, harvesting, or farming. It's going to be a while before I can use farming. So we'll go ahead and pick harvesting because we can actually benefit from that. Now you cannot read 2 books at a time. So you can see if I try to read this, it tells me only 1 book at a time, but you can let others read books. Now, I'm not going to have them do it, but I will show you. If you come into their attributes, you see the book icon. That means there's a book available for them to read. You could click on that and have them read it, but I'm not going to waste books on teaching Lubomir harvesting. Sorry, Lubbo. Let's see. This is the guy I just got the quest from, right? No, this is a different quest. Okay, so we have this one. Simple cords and pelts. I can't make simple cords yet. So that one, oh, they also need simple cords. Okay, then. So coming back to the Elder, I have something special for you. I'm going to ask him just about those coins, and then it brings me to this screen. So now I've got 3 of these coins from completing those other quests. I can turn those in, and that gets me up to friend. Hooray, we're friends. Okay, so we're missing resources for the loom. We need 3 river reeds. We've got to finish the loom next because the quests that we have both need simple cords, and those are made at the loom. So we're going to go and pick up some river reed so that we can finish that research and build a loom. Now, if you look at the map, river reed is found around bodies of water. So the closest and easiest place to get it is going to be right on the north side. This is a little lake. There's river reed around here. So we're going to head in that direction and get some river reed. It's pretty easy to spot down here by the river. You can see it's basically cattails. They stick out. They're a different color. And I'm just going to pick as many of these as I can because we're going to need this for the bow and some of the other things we need to research and make. So I'm just going to fill up on these. Don't pick up sticks because those are all over the place. Just get the river reed. Oh, wolf right there. Try to not aggro him. There are these loot chests here. I'm not going to open them at this point because I don't have any inventory space. So we will come back for those. We've got to go get rid of all of our reeds. Okay, 3 reeds at the research desk. That gives enough for research to finish. The other thing I want to do, because we finished our stockpile, we need more storage space. So we're going to build another stockpile right here. We need 5 flax, 5 logs, 10 wood. Let's see what we already got. I'll just go get, these trees are hardwood over here, so we can't actually cut these. We need a tier 2 axe. So you will see requires a better tool because we can't chop those down. With the weaver loom done, I'm going to let the follower do some gathering and building. I want to get that other storage built. And so I'm not going to research something new straight away. We'll give him a little bit of time. Okay, so they already got the wood and put that in. So extra wood for storage. For now, I'm going to put extra stuff in there. You can put stuff in there even when it's not marked as accepting those things. Again, these are really about managing what the workers move around and what they put where. So we can put things in here even though this is set as food only, just to get it out of our inventory so we can pick up wood and get the logs for that new storage. Okay, so there we go. Our stockpile is done. We now have much more space. Put stuff in, which is great news. We could split these up if we wanted to. Right now, I don't really care all that much. I am going to, however, put the books in here. Clear those out. And now let's go ahead and think about what we want to research next. Actually, no, I take that back. Before we research, I want to build one more thing, which is the loom. So we're going to build that right next to this storage. Put it right there. That was 13 reeds and wood, 8 stone. Ugh. Put them away, didn't pull them out. Okay, I'm going to let him build the loom. While that's going on, I'm going to start gathering some additional resources here. We are going to need hemp now because hemp is used to make some of the various loom crafts. So we're going to go around and grab some of that. There's more hemp over here. So we need 4 simple cords, then I think 2 for the other. 2 simple cords and 4. So 6 total simple cords. If we look at our loom, let's go ahead and manage it. Because what we can do is we can say we want to top off at, let's say 8 of each. Thatch we're not going to mess with right now. That takes straw, which takes other buildings that we haven't researched. So just linen, rope, and simple cord. That's what we're gonna put in here. So you can see we need flax, river reed, flax hemp, and then just flax for those various items. Okay, now let's look for research. Bags are important, but we don't have straps, so those aren't a thing anytime soon. Looking at our options here, I think the best thing, smoking rack is a priority because that allows us to smoke food, which gives us more cooked food faster. Travel sign is important because that allows us to set up fast travel spots. And then short bow is important so we can start doing archery things. So let's go ahead and go with the short bow, which needs 8 cords and 10 reeds. Now he's working on making cords. So he needs flax for that. So we've got one guy that's collecting. He'll collect the flax. He will do the research. We're going to need more reeds, so I'm going to run out and grab more reeds. We're going to need reeds for arrows as well. So those guys have enough to make progress. I'm going to go out and get some more reeds. This is, as the game starts to pick up, it becomes more of a supply chain management game than it does a survival game. And that's really, I mean, I'm fine with survival games. They're okay. But I really like the supply chain management side of it. that becomes fun, and building systems that allow you to take one thing from raw goods to finished goods that then becomes a part in another finished good, so on. That stuff is fun for me. So that's where I end up really enjoying this game, is putting together the different supply chains later on. So for now, our biggest hole is these reeds would be really hard because they walk everywhere, the followers, and they would take a long time to get out here to actually gather these. Now you can set up outposts, but that's a whole other thing, and we're not anywhere near ready to do that. Now to craft on your own, just have the materials in your inventory and then click on whatever it is you want to craft. You can queue multiple crafts by clicking on the same thing multiple times, and then you're just waiting for this loop to complete. Every time that loop completes, you craft an item and the next thing in the queue pops up. Another thing on this loom is you have the weaver's table. So we've looked at the weaver loom. You also have the weaver table. This is where you can craft various armors made from either the flax and hemp or some of the other basic leather type armors, pelts and hides and whatnot. So you can queue things up. At this point, I'm not going to queue anything up, although once we get a little bit more of the flax and hemp stored, we can craft some armor, because we are missing some things, and what we have is not all that great anyway. So we have no helmet, we have no gloves. Travelers, I think, is all we can make currently until we do some more research. But I know the beggar has much worse armor. I think the hunter has worse armor as well. So we can at some point make them better armor if we choose to do so. Before we go to bed, let's just look at what else we need here. We need, well, I made 8 cords. We only need to take 6 with us. So we'll put 2 away, and then we need 2 pelts, 2 pieces of cooked meat, and 2 logs. There's 1 log, 2 pelts. We're going to eat this berry. Spoiled foods. Okay, so you can see something in here spoiled. It's now bad. Spoiled food is actually useful. Later on, we'll be able to turn that into fertilizer. Okay, now for this last thing, 2 pieces of cooked meat. They want the medium size. It can't be the small. So what that means is, in order to complete that quest, we've got to go and take out a wolf or 2. We only need 1 for the quest, but we'll take out others if they happen to be around. There are a number of wolves around this area here, and there are wolves around this side of the lake, and then more wolves over here as well. So we're just going to head in that direction. Animals do respawn after you kill them. Deer will also drop pieces of meat, regular size pieces, but you can't kill them without a bow. I should say it's very difficult to kill them without a bow. Okay, I got 2. My inventory's full. There's another wolf there, but wouldn't do me any good to kill him because I couldn't carry anything that it dropped anyway. So we'll just head back with what we got. This is really an example of what not to do running out here with a mostly full inventory. Somewhat inefficient and a waste of some time. I should have at least emptied some inventory. That way I could have killed that other wolf while I was out there, got the extra food, got the extra pelts. But instead I'm going to run home with nothing. Now my inventory's full, but I have an empty food spot. So one of the things you can do when you harvest a berry, it doesn't let me put it in my inventory, so I can't eat it. But what I can do, you see it drops on the ground, berry loot. And if I open that, I can eat it from the dropped items menu. So I can still get the food without having to drop an item to pick up the berry, eat the berry, and then pick up the other item. Okay, so we have all of our quest items for both of these quests. So we'll run back to town and turn these in. Okay, looks like That one was turned in. He's got another one. I want to set the quest to track to this one. That's the next one I need to turn in. Okay, so that one got finished. Let's see. Quests everywhere. Okay, so there's that. So she's part of that last quest. She's also got a new quest, so we need to talk to her again and ask her what she wants. She wants a cloth quiver. Can't make those yet. This dude's got something. So this is one of the vendors. So you can sell things. Gold is useful for buying books. That's the most important use for it. So selling can be worth your time. Buying things, this is not generally worth doing. Stuff is a lot easier to make than it is to get the gold to buy it. So there's nothing on here that isn't easier to go and do yourself. I would never spend gold buying. I won't say never. Very rarely would I actually spend gold to buy things there. So if you talk to him again, is there anything I could help you with? That's what's going to open the quests. See what he needs to know. He wants some stuff. And one other quest to pick up down here. Got to talk to him again to ask him if there's anything I can do for him. Okay, so now we have a pile of quests to do. One that we're currently tracking is to go to the next town. Not interested in doing that just yet. So let's see what we've got. Talk to the carpenter. Simple arrows and cloth quiver. 2 rugged shirts. 5 simple axes. So it's all crafting stuff. Let's go ahead and let's see where this guy is. Okay, so talk to the carpenters also in the next town. So simple arrow and quiver, 2 rugged shirts, 5 simple axe. We'll go ahead and track that one. And let's go back. Now simple axes require stones and wood. See if we can get this one knocked out before day ends. Okay, our short bow's unlocked. If we look at rugged shirts, they require straps. We're not wasting straps on that right now. I mean, we still don't have any to waste, but even if we had a few, we wouldn't waste them on that. The big thing that we need the straps for is the village hall. That allows us to unlock tier 2 tech, which will allow us to unlock the toolmaker, which will allow us to build or craft straps. So we're not doing that. Looking at the other equipment, I'm looking for stuff that doesn't require straps. All this armor requires straps. The bag requires straps. Bandages don't, but I don't think bandages are all that great. I hardly ever use them. Bloomery is needed, but also we're not ready to use it anyway because we're not smelting copper or tin or bronze. Travel sign would be good. Mining camp soon, but not immediately needed. Mud collector, the same. I think of all these options, the trapper's camp is probably the most helpful. So we'll put that up. The trapper's camp will allow us to assign a worker to go and empty the traps for us, so we don't have to do that anymore, because that can be a little time consuming to constantly keep these traps updated. And of course that trap is broken and that trap was not baited. 4, 5. Okay. I'm going to be way short on wood. Heck, some more. Let's see, what's nice is it remembers whatever you put in the queue. So you just need to go get more mats. And when you come back, it'll continue to craft. You don't have to try and put everything back in. It's going to repair mine, but I don't have any more wood. And you have to give, for any kind of quest like this, when they request equipment, you've got to give new goods. You can't give a busted, almost broken axe. Okay. And our other thing, simple arrows and cloth quiver. Can't make, I can make those. Oh, because I can make the bow now. So 5 wood, 3 reed, and then a cloth quiver is 5 linen, 2 cord. This is the first raid thread increase to 50%. So we still have time, but at some point we'll get raided by bandits. We're not well prepared to defend ourselves. And so we'll prioritize once these last couple of quests get done. We'll prioritize better armaments, making bows, making quivers, and potentially some better armor as well. Although I'm not going to spend too much time on armor because the armor is not that great at this level. Okay, we'll still need wood. We're totally out of wood. And just before we head out, we're going to add a quiver, simple axe, simple arrows, and elm short bow. We're going to top up orders. We want 2 bows. We want 4 arrows. We want 2 axes, 2 quivers. So we'll keep those in the queue. We need lots more resources to actually make that happen, but that way they'll slowly work on that stuff. I think it's too late. Take those in. Traps are triggered. So we'll go clear out the traps and then maybe call it for day 5. I'll bet that other trap breaks too. And we'll have to go get a new trap. Okay, so that's it. End of day 5. We've got a cooking station. We've got a couple of chests. We've got a storage. We've got a loom up. We've got a forage camp. We've got our first 2 followers. Done a fair amount of research and have our crafting table going. I'd say not bad. We're about to go turn in 2 more quests. We're at the friendly level. Friendly trust level, so we've made good progress there on getting that opened up. Not bad for the first 5 days.